like today. It comes down to possessions and attitude. Okay, when we're on this field, okay, every ground ball is ours. We come out here, like we talked about. You want to set up the showdown for Friday, you earn it right now on this field.
Go, boys.
Okay? Take it to them from the opening face-off and play the way that we're capable of playing. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. Go! Right here, right here, right here. We're in.
Here we go, Jake!
Drive that! Easy, no push!
Double that, Tony!
Here we go, Jake!
On that, hard on that!
That boy, Parker!
Go, number up!
Next time on Alex, black!
Here we go, White! Take a run!
Right, up! Tony and Hank! Nice D, Hank!
Help, Jacob, get there! Come on it! It's gotta be on!
Good job. Drive that, good! Drive that!
Nice D, Jacob!
Go, John! Go with him! Come on!
Back!
Just 2 on! We're all sides, sir! Thank you! Drop!
You're there, John! Drop, John!
The end of the first quarter, I remember looking up and there was about 3 minutes left on the clock, and I was like, wow, we really haven't touched the ball very much. We'd been pushing transition, but we were warned. I got multiple scouting reports that this is kind of the way Windham plays. You know, they're going to slow things down a little bit. They're going to make you work to get the ball, and when you do get it, you got to cash in on opportunities. So we kind of knew that coming into the game, and I had prepared the guys and kind of said, look, you know, if we win this game by 4 or 5, great. Win this game by 4 or 5. Just get out of here with the W.
To be completely honest, yeah, I was very surprised about that. I did not expect it to be a 0-0 game, but once we started to pick it up, started to get the ball moving, started not to throw the ball away, which I think was our big thing in the first quarter. We started to put points on the board.
I definitely thought that was a very slow start for us, which is definitely a trend that we have. Is we always come out slow, but as soon as we start making connections and hitting the net, things start clicking. And that started to happen, but there definitely were a lot of things that fell through the cracks that game.
A little bit of surprise, and we definitely weren't expecting that to happen the way it did, but it's always usually a dogfight with them, and the games can always be a little haywire, especially like in the semifinal game last year. So we were kind of used to it, so we just got to put our heads down and keep going.
Let's go, Jake! time. You got time. Come on, team. 15.
I was right behind him, and I was getting ready for the ball to go over his head. I started to run a little bit the other way to go recover it, because I was like, oh, there's no way he's gonna catch that. It's way too high of a pass. But somehow he just jumps out of the gym, as they say, and he brought it down and had a nice goal there. So that was super impressive.
Surprised he had enough traction to get up like that, because that clay is terrible to play on. But no, I was not surprised at all, because that's his type of play, inside finishing. He's been doing it all year, so happy about that. Happy that he scored.
Great setup. Like, we had everything set up perfectly there, and then when he caught it and dunked it, it was like an unbelievably athletic play. And watching it on film, I mean, I don't know if he's ever gotten that far off the ground before. Like, we've taken a couple still frames of that and kind of looked at it and like, wow, man, you got some hops there. You got off the ground. I mean, it was full extension, and he caught that thing by the tip of the stick, and then had the body control to actually get it with one hand and put it in behind the goalie. So, and that was that was a big momentum swing right there too. It kind of opened things up, gave some breathing room, and allowed us to kind of really feel comfortable and put Windham on their heels a little bit at that point too. So, yeah, incredible, great athlete making plays.
We all knew Windham was going to put up a good fight. They're a tough team. They definitely got a little aggressive and a little chippy towards the end of the game. But I think we all expected them to fight and stick with us. I don't think we expected them to kind of just roll over, and because they all knew we had a close game with them last year in the semis. So they knew they could run with us, and they knew we were definitely a different team from last year. So they wanted to give us their best shot.
I think we came out a little bit flat, just as a team as a whole. Maybe took them a little, just not as seriously as we probably should have. And they proved that they're a very good team, and if we're not on our game, they can hang with us for whatever that. I mean, I think we played a pretty good game for that first half. It was pretty closely contested, and we pulled away towards the end of the half. But I mean, they had very solid players all around the field.
We definitely focused on finishing out that game, because we realized when it's raining, it gets really sloppy. Our team sometimes throws the ball away, again, like in the first quarter. So once we slowed the ball down, we were able to play a complete game from the second quarter on. And I feel like we really needed to do that in that day and just focus on getting the win. We did put up a decent amount of points, but most important thing is coming away with W.
It definitely goes from individual to individual. For me personally, it's if I know that the goals that I let in were goals that we're supposed to get in, that there's nothing I can do about, then I feel good about the way that I've played. And I think that the same can be said for a lot of the rest of the team, for the defense, as long as, like, if slides are on time, but the guy still gets a great shot off, that's something to be satisfied about. They did their job. There's nothing else they can do about that. For the attack or for the midfielders, if they have a shot and it's going bar down or perfectly in the corner and the goalie makes a great save, I mean, there's nothing you can do if somebody makes a great save in that scenario. So I think that being satisfied with a win is just coming out of the game, understanding that you have made mistakes, but not harping on those mistakes.
I didn't think it was too bad. I think that there was a couple things that we needed to clean up on. But I think 2 goals, always having a team like them score 2 goals is a good game. So.
It's going to be a huge game. There's going to be a huge crowd here. A lot of hype and build up to the game. I think if we are able to win on Tuesday and keep that winning streak going, I think people are looking to see, how legitimate is this streak? Can they do it against a perennial D1 powerhouse, a Final Four team?
This will probably be top 3 hardest games I've ever had in high school, and I'm very excited.
Definitely say probably top 3, because we're definitely not used to, I guess, this level of competition. Like, some of us are, but you know what I mean, as a team. So this should be a very interesting game. I feel like the biggest thing with our team is taking good shots, because this goalie is very, very good.
Honestly, I'd probably put it at number 1. I'm very excited for the game, just because of the nature of the game. I mean, they're arguably number 3 in Division 1 right now, and I'm just. It's going to be a hard game. It's going to be a fun game, and each team is going to have to bring their best, and hopefully we can come out on top on Friday night. So.
A D1 team, so it's always going to be a challenge, but I think it'll be a great matchup for us. They have some good guys on offense, and they've played great defense, and they have really good goalies, so I think it'll be a really good test for us to see how we're shooting and how we're running our plays and how we can produce on offense and defense.
Great offensive weapons. They have a tremendous goalie. We're going to have to work really, really hard to score goals in that game, and we're going to have to play some very good defense because they've got guys that can shoot hard and put it in the back of the net. But we're looking forward to that challenge. I think coming into the season, that's what the guys wanted. They wanted, we got our wish playing Westwood and Souhegan, and we passed those tests. Now it's almost like, a lead up, like a midterm exam here to see where we're at heading into playoffs.
Definitely something where you just need to keep your head up, keep looking forward. Like Het says all the time, good shots will go. So we just need to take the smart shots. This is definitely a team that you do not want to force shots on.
What that does is that really keeps you accountable. So the best thing that ever happened for me at Derryfield was having Jack here the year before me, because him and I always competed at such a high level to stay up close with each other that it always pushed both of us to be the best. So that's why I love playing against good goalies, because it forces me to do my job.
It comes back to this mentality of having the next play. So one thing I'm going to talk with, especially the defense, is just having this next play mentality. If they score a goal, okay, we're on the next play, we're on the next play. I think it's the same thing with offense and just trying to correct those little things that are going wrong. But yes, it's going to be a good test for us, and we're just going to have to take some great shots on Friday, and hopefully they go.
Personally, I gotta play confident for all 4 quarters. If I miss a shot, he saved a shot. I can't get discouraged, and I think that goes for the entire Derryfield team. We gotta all play with confidence on Friday and make sure that we bring our best selves. And if a shot doesn't go, if we make a mistake, we just gotta next play mentality.
got underway, it was definitely much more exciting than playing a majority of teams in our league. Actually getting to make saves and play aggressively with a team that can hit right back. We'll hit them, they'll hit us hard right back, and that's an exciting.
I think the atmosphere was definitely there. I think everybody was ready to play a great game and to win, but unfortunately some mistakes happened and we weren't ready for that.
Those games are what I love to play in. So it was definitely a fun game. I was hyped up. The boys were hyped up, and you could tell by their silence that they were as well. So it's just some energy going, especially the first quarter as we started scoring a couple goals. I think we scored 3. It definitely gets some momentum going, and you get the adrenaline going. You're like, all right, I'm digging this. Let's go.
I mean, that was a game that we marked our calendars for. We played as hard as we could. We were ready. All facets of the game, offense, defense. We game planned hard for them, and they came out fired up. That first quarter, I think we were up 4-0, maybe 4-1 at the end. Maybe let off the gas a little bit. They played super strong down the stretch of that game through the second and third quarters. And we found ourselves in a dogfight at the end of the game. The crowd was into it for the people that were there. Seeing Portsmouth there makes you want to put on a little bit of a show too, showing what we're about. But I don't know. Overall, I really enjoyed the game.
A little eerie. Both teams were really locked in and zoned in. There wasn't a whole lot of hollering back and forth, and there wasn't a lot of fake, rah-rah, like getting these, like, I think both teams kind of knew, like, this was an important game. We need to just concentrate on our team and what we need to do to get ready. And as a coach, it was kind of like, man, will somebody, like, come on, let's go, like, let's talk. But these guys were so dialed in, so we just kind of let things kind of flow a little bit there. And I've kind of resigned to the fact that I've got a lot of guys that have played at a high level, that have played during summer and other showcases. They know how to get themselves ready. They don't need the fake rah-rah. Some of the guys underneath them might need a little bit, and I've challenged them as leaders to do that a little bit more. And I said, guys, you know how to get yourselves ready, but let's make sure you're not forgetting about your teammates too and doing that. So as we enter into the playoffs, we're kind of that's a big challenge for those guys, is to make sure they're taking care of their teammates as well as themselves. But they clearly in that game, the guys who needed to step up stepped up in that game and made big plays throughout it.
I feel a little bit nervous. A lot of high energy out on the field. Wasn't really happy with how my game started. Hit 2 posts in a row to begin my game, so not really happy about that. But the atmosphere was great. I was happy with all the people coming out.
Johnny Mac, you attack now! Johnny Mac, attack! Here we go, right?
Division One team, one of the better Division One teams, score a point and a half is great for us, especially after how much work we've put in. And I definitely thought the offense was doing well. I think they took advantage of the opportunities they had. And going into the second half, we were definitely expecting them to punch back, and they ended up doing
I felt
that.
like I wish we had been up more. I felt like we had opportunities. Felt like we completely outplayed them. Felt like we had. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just felt like our guys executed everything that we had on the game plan. We knew what we wanted to do defensively. We felt that there were going to be some things that would make us, successful offensively, and we did. And we left some on the field. We hit some pipes, which every team's going to do. We had a great opportunity in front of the net, and their goalie made a great save. And okay, that happens. But we had spent a tremendous amount of energy trying to come out on fire and build that lead. And I just kind of knew that we needed a little. We were gonna have to weather that storm in the second half.
Tony's attacking, Johnny Max City. Drop, UMass! UMass! I need two.
Definitely felt that. I mean, a 5-3 game to a 5-4 game, it's one goal, but I mean, you're right back in it in a 1-goal game. So, and coming out after a little bit of a break, coming into the quarter, I mean, guys are fresh, they're fired up, they got some momentum moving their way, and they took advantage of their opportunities.
That one definitely hurt. Just not a goal that you want to give up going into the end of the quarter, because that's your last memory going into the next quarter. So definitely not what we want to see.
Well, because I was thinking like all we need to do like last 15 seconds, we just need to get out of here with just like they can hold the ball, but we just can't let them score. And I think there was a little miscommunication with like who was picking up what guy, and that kind of led to them scoring. And yeah, I think that was one of the probably the turning point of the momentum, and definitely something that it is something we can't let happen again.
Pretty quickly, actually, as I recall. And I think that what was happening is they'd score one and we'd be like, all right, it's fine, and they'd come back and they'd put another in, and guys started getting more and more excited and less focusing on like how they're supposed to be playing and more just freaking out at the score. So, I mean, the big thing that Het's always told me is keep your eyes off the scoreboard. Just let whatever's going to be up there. Just focus on the game. And I think that that's something that we need to do a little bit more of.
Yeah, and that was something we've done a pretty good job with this season is weathering momentum shifts like that, whether it was the Westwood game or Portsmouth or, even to some extent Sauhegan. I think that was the first time where we let a mental breakdown in the face-off circle then compound itself, because I think the fifth goal they got to tie it up was also we weren't communicating, and we were going to make a switch, and we got halfway there, and then we left the guy open in the middle of the field, and they scored there. And then, it led to some breakdowns on the field when we weren't playing fundamentally sound there, where, for I would say 40 out of the 48 minutes, we won that game, but we had a really bad 8 minutes, and we let it slip away a little bit.
Alex and I were both going for the guy, and he was like able to slip one right between us. But then I was like trying to catch up, and then I see Jacob going to pick up the ball, and I'm like, whoa, wait, what? And then I watched the film later, and yeah, I saw that they hit the post, and yeah, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I throughout that last 5-6 minutes, I was just trying to say next play, next play, next play, because that's all you can focus on then. So I usually get in my head sometimes, and I'm actually glad that I didn't get in my head that game. So.
We ever stopped playing, it's tough to go out there and play 60 minutes your hardest, or play a full game at your hardest. But mistakes happen defensively. Obviously, balls were thrown away, and as a team, you can't let that get to you. You gotta keep your head up. We all, as talent players, we all make mistakes. I screwed up multiple times in that game before, and it comes down to who stuck with it the most, and who gritted it out, and who wanted it more. And I guess on that night they showed that they wanted it more.
Super impressed. I think Hank scored that last that seventh goal right there. I mean, everyone showed their resilience all the way to the end, and we weren't backing down. It's funny because we're usually in the leader's shoes, trying to just hold the game off, just let the clock run out, get out of there with a good solid win. But we were playing catch up, so that's the stuff you gotta do. You gotta lay it all on the line in the end of the game. Guys are dogged, so anything could have happened in those last 5 minutes or so. But I was super proud of the guys all the way around. Coaches, they're super encouraging all the way through the game, and it was a good game to have right before playoffs.
Definitely shows that the team has some serious heart. We did not give up at all. We didn't come out with a win, but it showed a lot of character out of everybody because everybody played as hard as they possibly could, and the outcome wasn't the best, but for the future, lifts a little bit of a weight off our shoulders that we're not thinking about a streak, but who knows? Could start a completely new one.
And then after the game, even though we lost and it was tough, it was like we didn't want to have our streak end, but it's gonna happen. It's part of the game. Nothing lasts forever. You just seen how excited that they were. I think the other team, how excited Exeter was. It felt good because we're a D2 tiny little school team, and we went out and gave one of the better teams in New Hampshire a great game. So that just shows that we're a team that people use as a milestone.
I think it's very good. It's very optimistic. Like looking into the future, like we can, if we face some more adversity like this, like we can hang with it. I think, though, especially leading up to that, though, there are definitely stuff we have to figure out. But not giving up, because we could have, there was only like 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. We could have just been like, all right, we're not going to win. But we didn't, which is good. And, I was watching a bunch of like the Virginia game this weekend. It was a big comeback game, so it was kind of the same mentality. And I'm glad that we were able to kind of channel some of that and give it all we got.
Very rewarding to see that, like, the things we're doing at practice, the way we're preparing, led us to give us an opportunity to that. I think back to all the way back to 2015 when we first moved up to Division II, and our quarterfinal win over St. Thomas, where we looked dead in the water, down 4 in the fourth quarter, late, and having to battle back and 10-man ride and cash in on man up and things like that to get back in that game, and then all the way up to the championship game against Goffstown, where Goffstown goes up big on us. I think it was 5-1 at one point, and seeing our guys battle back there. So I know as a coach, I was drawing back to those moments and how did I get those guys to respond there. And then, I think our guys kind of drew on the confidence we had from the things that we were doing during practice, and knowing that, okay, we're gonna have to dig down, find the energy to up the tempo, change the momentum of the game, change the pace, and take some chances. And that was the other thing I challenged the guys too, is don't be scared right now. Don't be scared to lose. Like, if we're gonna lose, let's go out on our terms and dictate the tempo to them. And I think we did a good job of that. We trapped a couple times off the end line. We rode harder. And we created some opportunities for ourselves to get back in that game. So I'm excited that knowing that come playoff time things get like that, we have the ability to do that.